kind of cheated here because this would never happen, but my writer is
Like Aaron, Pierre, that's
this guy.
Mufasa.
But I feel I picked him because I think he can pull a lot of emotion out of his actors.
Yeah. Is he playing like a British guy or is he playing an American guy?
That's a good question.
Like, I mean, I really like his style too. Like, I was talking about how working within like the dark.
Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother.
Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's up, film fam, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name's Dion.
My name is Scott.
And if you're new to the show, welcome. Scott and I, we aren't movie experts or anything, but we are two old friends who just love talking about them. And today is a big episode because in the spirit of the summer blockbuster season approaching, we wanted to cast our own summer blockbusters. And you can let us know which ones you'd rather watch. But before we get into that, we need to get into our family meeting.
Let's get into the family meeting.
Let's get into the family meeting.
I don't have friends. I got family.
The film family, the family
family.
meeting. Dom Toretto is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We're all about family here at the
All
Film
about
Room
family.
Podcast.
All
And
about family.
man, this has been some ongoing bit that we've stuck to, and this is great. I love it. So this is what this is the question that we throw up on our Instagram every week, and that's how the easiest way that you could be a part of the conversation, be in the family meeting. But really, with any comment, DM, anything, you can be involved in the conversation. But we asked basically, what are some of the greatest characters of all time? We got a few answers here. We got our boy Jordan.
Hey.
He said Gandalf.
Okay.
And I don't think you haven't seen the Lord of the
No,
Rings.
I haven't
right?
Lord of the Rings. I know who Gandalf is though.
Right.
I know Gandalf. Are you messing with Gandalf? Is that
Hell yeah.
okay?
Yeah, he's got a. I don't want to say too much and like spoil it for you, but he's like the mentor almost. He's like the old and the wise, and he leads the group and the fellowship.
Okay.
And yeah, all timer.
Yeah.
Great character.
I mean, he's one of those characters again. Like, I haven't seen any of the movies, and nothing to have against. I'm not a Lord of the Rings hater, but I'm definitely, now that we have this podcast, I'm definitely gonna watch the movie. Like I don't think there was a part of me that was just like, I never want to watch these movies, but now there's like an extra incentive, and then we can chat about it, and I'll be like the first time viewer versus you, because you guys did a whole marathon. You and was that the marathon you guys did? Was it the Lord of the Rings movies?
We've done a few, but that was the first one. Yeah, we did the extended editions. All three is 12 hours.
Whew. Real ones.
I love those movies. The Lord of the Rings movies are great.
Yeah,
so
I'm down to see them.
And it's cool that you haven't seen it, so you'll have that fresh perspective. So yeah, I'm excited for when we do it. It'll be good.
All right, good pick, Jordan. Good pick, Jordan.
Yeah. We also got our boy Kobe.
Hey,
shout out Kobe.
No relation.
No relation. He shout out too. He got your boy Tyler Durden.
Yeah, so I like that.
I know your Fight Club's your favorite movie, so I'm guessing you agree.
Good pick. That wasn't who I picked for my cast in my movie, but that's a good pick.
No Brad Pitt? No Brad Pitt in your movie?
Surprisingly, no Brad Pitt.
Okay.
But
okay.
I still like that pick, Kobe.
Yeah. And he's like interesting character for sure. Yeah, that's a great pick.
No, 100%.
He also said Joe Pesci as Harry from Home Alone.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm trying to think. Is he a? No, I guess he's the main. Yeah, he'd be your main villain if you're gonna cast him. I like him. No, that's a good pick.
I think that I would say that's more like a better casting. Like the character is like just a robber. Like there's not really that much to his character, but like Joe Pesci is perfect.
Oh yeah,
in that
100%.
role. Like so maybe that's what he meant, and if so, I totally agree, Kobe.
100%.
Joe Pesci's perfect.
Great,
in that role.
Classic movie. We did a shameless plug. We did a Home Alone episode. Go check that out. We love that movie. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't, man?
Yeah. I don't know how.
Then we got our boy David Hoffman. Okay. He said Patrick Bateman. Great
That's
pick.
great.
I didn't think of that, but like from American Psycho, if you haven't seen the movie, you have, right?
Of course, yeah.
That's a great character. That's a really great pick. He's like one of the most if not the most ego-driven character of all time. So complex and like just trying to figure out why he's doing what he's doing, what's going on in his head. Like, great character.
Oh, 100%. And just an amazing performance too. It's one of those
True.
it's like a movie that like just off premise alone could kind of just be like, okay, it's cool, but it's the performance that like a Bate gives off. I mean, sorry, like Christian Bale gives off. Yeah. I'm calling him Bate.
Bate?
Like yeah, like I'm calling him actual
Baleman?
Yeah, Baleman. But no, it's the performance that he gives off that makes it so great. And then like the memes just have stuck around.
Yeah.
Him just
Yeah,
with the
true.
headphones and his walk. There's so many memes from that movie. It's a classic.
Yeah, peeling the face mask off and him looking in the mirror while he's doing that girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. There is good memes, but
that's great.
Yeah, great pick.
Great pick.
And we got Jade Parker.
Yeah.
She said Megamind, Timothy Chalamet, and Kristen Wiig.
Okay.
So Timothy Chalamet and Kristen Wiig are actors, not characters. So she's shouting out, I guess, some of her favorite actors. But Megamind, I haven't actually seen Megamind. Have you?
I've seen Megamind actually. It's pretty good. Like, it's
what do you think of that pick?
Huh?
What do you think of that pick then? Like the character?
No, it's a good pick. It's a funny character. Like the Megamind, it's like one of those classic. Like, I mean, a lot of villains are likable, but it's just like it's a cartoon, like animated film, and like the villain is just I can't remember who plays the villain. I'm trying to, but I can't remember which
Steve
comedian.
Carell?
Nah, it's not Steve Carell. It's gonna
look.
bother me. I feel like it's the dude. No, I know the hero.
Will Ferrell.
Guy. It's Will Ferrell. Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's Will Ferrell. Okay.
Will Ferrell and the guy that plays Joe in like Family Guy. I think he's the superhero. From what I remember, he's like an all white. I forget his
Patrick,
name again.
Warburton or something.
That dude's got an
like
iconic voice.
Yeah,
he's like it's him. But now Megamind's a good pick, and the Timothy Chalamet. I'm curious. Like Timmy's got a lot of bangers at this point, so I'm curious. Jade, you know what's funny? Like Jade Parker. That's one of my friends. That's one of the homies. That's not actually her real name. It's like her that's like her I don't know her
stage
her Twitch.
name?
Yeah, it's like her stage name. So it's just I'm saying Jade. And it just sounds so funny. It's like if I was calling you Scott and you're like, oh, your stage name's Marcus, and I'm referring to you as Marcus. But
okay.
But no, the Kristen Wiig I'm interested too because I'm assuming her favorite character. I'm not gonna put her on her. Maybe you can tell us, Jade, if it's her from Bridesmaids, because I think that's probably it. Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, I mean that's what I most recognize from, and she's funny as hell in Bridesmaids. So great pick there. And Timmy, I'm a big Timmy fan. I don't know what
your favorite
Timmy. My favorite Timmy character.
That's tough.
Would be. I mean, he's
done a lot.
Because he's done a lot. I mean, when he was young, he did a lot of like he was smaller roles.
Yeah.
So probably wouldn't even be any of those, but like. I mean, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is Paul Atreides.
Oh, okay, yeah, 100%.
And he's fucking dope in Dune.
No, he really is. I really liked him in A Complete Unknown. That's the Bob Dylan biopic. I just think it's just crazy when I see anyone like change their voice and like them just. I mean, a lot of people like teach them how to play instruments and sing like that, but like his performance was so good for someone that didn't grow up listening to Bob Dylan or wasn't really a Bob Dylan fan. I just thought he crushed it because he made me interested in it, and I thought it was a good character.
The thing about him changing his voice is like he pretty much does that for all of his roles because he's French, right? His name is Timothée Chalamet. Like,
I guess
he's
that's
French.
true.
So like we hear him speak English a lot, and his English is perfect. Like his accent is really good, but at the end of the day, he is changing his voice.
Yeah, that's true. But when you hear him talk though, like even just in interviews and stuff, he sounds pretty like American. I feel
That's
like
what I mean. Like, his English is really good.
No, 100%.
But he would still like his natural mother tongue would be French, and he'd have that accent.
No, you're right. That's true, 100%. But no, it's a good pick. Those are all, and that wraps up our family meeting. I think.
Yeah, because we don't have friends.
Yeah.
It's not the friendly meeting.
Yeah, that's true. It's not the friendly meeting. No. But no, thanks, guys. Everyone appreciate everyone coming through, man. Like we always appreciate you guys getting some feedback from the fans, and those are great picks, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, because like you said at the start of the show, we're not movie experts, so we don't hold our opinions higher than anybody else's. So we always want to have other people enjoying the conversation, make good points that we don't think of or stuff like. I mean, in this case, we're not reviewing a movie, so it's not really like points on a movie, but still, appreciate everybody sending in their thoughts.
No, it's a great pick. And now it's time for us to get into our summer blockbusters. So again, you don't have to know basketball to understand this breakdown we're going to do, because this is in the spirit of, like I said, it's the summer blockbuster season. Like, it's getting to May. Like, May is when the movies start coming out. You start getting your Mission Impossibles, your superhero movies. If the Fast movies were making movies, this is around the time they'd make those movies. Speaking
Yeah.
of Dom Toretto and talking about family,
That's right.
this is the time when all the summer blockbusters come out, and we're big basketball fans. So this is like, it's the playoffs. So I was like, how can I incorporate? It's just a big time for both two of the
Yep.
things that we really love. So I'm like,
Round 2,
yeah,
Celtics just folded.
exactly.
It's a great
So
time.
it's a great time. So we're gonna go. We're gonna pick a genre. We're gonna pick a director, a writer. We're gonna pick our location / time. If we, I don't know if Scott did, but if he felt like he wanted to put a date on it. Our lead, our villain, our supporting lead, and love interest, or it could just be a family member. And then last, our 6-man, which is kind of like a side character, or just like again, it's not as much as supporting character, but like, that little character on the side that maybe like cracking jokes or has like a little heroic moment, like those kind of little side characters. So Scott, I mean, we can jump right into it. Do you want to give us your first, which is, actually, no, before we do that, sorry. Give us your premise. What is your premise of your movie before we get into your
Yeah. Okay, so I
aspects?
got so here's my premise.
Yeah.
Here's my premise that I came up with. So we got a group of friends and they book a trip in which they're dropped off on a secluded island for a week with a guide.
Okay.
There's a big house that they all stay at, and the guide brings them on day trips around the island. That's what the trip is, right? There's a storm the first night that takes out the antenna that provides internet and any connection to anything else in the world. So they can continue their trip. They still have power and everything. They just have to wait to get picked up at the end of the week as scheduled. The next day, the guide takes them to a beautiful natural pool on the island that they found at the end of last week's tour. And they all go for a swim, have a good time. Then they all discover that up the stream that feeds the pool, the rotting corpse of a large animal has contaminated the water.
Oh, okay.
So the guide is coughing up blood, dies that night, and they all understand that they will all be dead in the next few days. With no means to reach out for help to the outside world, no way to get off the island. They're stuck and they're doomed.
So they are infected by that same disease.
Yeah, because they went in the water.
Oh, okay.
They went in the water. They swam. They were, splashing around. They got some in their mouth or whatever. And because the guide found out on the last trip.
Yeah.
Like maybe let's say 4 days ago, and he went and swam. So we're like, okay, this is it's gonna, in 4 days from now, they can't undo it. They're contaminated. It's a movie, all right. Maybe
No.
there is a way to like. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's scientifically correct.
No.
That's my premise for the movie. And the antenna's wiped out. They can't call for help. They can't do nothing. They're stuck on an island and they're dead in a few days.
Okay. No, it's interesting. I like that. Like, and I'm curious to see who's in this movie now too, and then you can kind of like build on it, because like you got me with the concept. Because I got so many questions. I'm like, okay, like how much time? Like how much time they got? Like what did they? Yeah. Okay. No. I like that.
So you like the premise?
No, I like the premise. That was a good premise.
Sick.
Yeah. I mean, I hope.
I
Mine.
wasn't sure. I came up with the idea. I was like, I don't know. I hope he likes it.
No, it's good. I went
lit.
I went like bare bones on mine, like in just what I wrote and like my little like synopsis here.
That's fine, yeah.
But like as we go through it, like I'll explain more, because I didn't want to just like, I don't want to lose you. Like I want to just like, because I'm sure, I don't know. I mean, there's gonna be plot holes in probably both of our things, because we just came up with these. These guys have been. Some people take years to write a whole script. We probably took like a couple hours each. But so my character, I got a lead character, and I have here who it actually is. Okay, I'll say like this: we have our lead character and his wife, and he must get to his wife and daughter before the ex-husband, who's awaiting trial, escapes during the 24-hour blackness that took over Toronto in 2003. For those that didn't know, there was a 48-hour blackness in 2003 that happened in Toronto, where there was no power for straight 48 hours. So the whole concept of this is the husband is like a former, because he's got to be trained just so I can get him to use guns
Okay,
and
yeah.
stuff. Former Marine, all that good stuff. And
Nice.
then the ex-husband is crazy and he went on a killing spree. Well, yeah, he went on a killing spree. He was like kind of a serial. He killed a couple people and now he's awaiting trial. And he is the ex-husband of our lead guy. And he's just like happy. He's like, I can't wait till that guy goes to prison so he can like get out of, so he can leave my family alone, get away. Like he was like a whole trouble. And the
Mhm.
daughter is also like the crazy guy's daughter too. So like this guy, our lead guy, he stepped in and he's the new stepdad. He's the good guy to save them from their
Okay.
past life that they used to have with that guy. He was horrible, doing all this killing and stuff. Now he's in, but the power went out. So the city's in shambles, the prisons are open, and this guy escaped. And he's saying that I'm gonna get, like, no one can be with my wife and my kids. Like if I can't be with them, no one can. So he's on his way to go and try to kill them. And our lead is on his way to get to them too to save them. And my whole
Okay.
thing is like, can he save them in this madness? so
Okay.
so that's the
And he can't rely on, like, I don't wanna say he can't rely on technology, but it's all blacked out.
yeah, exactly. And it's
Like, you just
2003.
drive and
And it's
stuff.
2003.
That's true.
I put it back there also too, just to help limit all the access to things and Ubers and all
Okay.
these things. And it
Okay.
was wildness that was going on. Yeah, so
Alright. Let me
that's
make a guess. Your lead is Jason Statham.
I thought about it. I was like Jason Statham, John Wick, like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Like who should I do here? But we'll see. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let me.
Okay, okay.
We'll slowly cook there. So
I
those are our
like the premise,
premises.
though.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Those are our premises. And I want to know, first, starting with you. I mean, we can kind of. I think we can kind of guess. So the way we structured this, like it's like with basketball. This is the arena. So the arena. What is your genre of your movie?
Yeah, so mine's gonna be a drama.
Okay.
So, they all know they're gonna die. So it's gonna be very dialogue heavy
Okay.
scenes, kind of them just they're at first how they react to the news initially, and then how they then come to maybe accept it. Maybe some accept it, some don't. And then how they, all limits are off now. So the conversations that are going to be had, maybe they were holding things back among
Mm.
to be cordial among friends. All that shit's gone. So there's also going to be a little bit of a dark comedy aspect to it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm thinking the vibes are going to be pretty dark because
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
death looming obviously throughout the whole movie, but there's going to be some comedic tones where they're riffing on each other and stuff
Mhm.
because it's a group of friends at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, it's gonna get a little bit of dark. It's gonna be drama. There's gonna be some things that make you think, and the meaning of life and that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
That's where we go.
I
That's my
like
arena.
that. I like that. I like that. That's a good choice. That's a good start. Again, like I'm really excited to see like where like the characters that come in, like who's gonna be in it, like because I'm that sounds interesting. I like those kind of. I don't want to say dystopian because that's not dystopian, but these kind of like there's almost like a time limit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
time. There's this there's an aspect of like okay, I don't know what's like I don't know what's gonna happen next. I'm curious to see where you go with that. For me, I went with like psychological thriller slash action. So like
Yeah.
mine's a little like I want it to be like a kind of like dark in the sense I mean the movie's literally gonna be dark because it's blackness. Like
That's
so
right.
I'm
Yeah.
leaning into it's like it's gonna be like a little bit scary. It's not a horror movie. Because I was thinking about possibly doing a horror movie, but I was like, let's have it like a little more psychological thriller where it's just like it's suspenseful. Like there's gonna be these moments when like maybe you got to go through this building or whatever, and it's dark. Like everything's dark, so there's always gonna be this
Yeah.
little aspect of like it's kind of spooky, but there's gonna be action. Sometimes, yeah, he's a trained ex-military guy. If he's gotta get these act. He's of course he's got a gun and he's got a full load of clips and stuff just in case.
Hell yeah.
Just in case, you know what I mean. So like, there's gonna be some cool action in it. So I went with psychological thriller slash action for my genre, my arena.
I like that. I think the psychological aspect is going to be interesting. Like the wife and daughter, like they're going to be shook, right? They're
Yeah.
like, who's going to get here first? I mean, how, are they? I don't want to ask too many. Like I got questions too based on your
Yeah, yeah.
premise. Are they like running in a certain direction? Are they trying to fight back? And then the action, we're gonna get some. I hope we get some like pitch black action almost, where it's almost just
Ooh.
audio of them scrapping. You know what I mean? And
That's a
then
good idea.
and then we're like, and then one of them's, and then there's a gunshot, and you only hear one set of footsteps. So one of
Oh
them's
yeah.
dead, but who is it? We don't know which one it is. Then
Mm.
oh shit!
I like that. There's a lot you could do with the darkness. That's
Hell
what I'm
yeah,
saying. There's a
hell
lot
yeah.
you could do with the no light. That's good. The next one we have is The Coach. So who's your director?
I chose David Fincher to be my director.
Okay.
So the like I got the drama, dark comedy. I mean, he hasn't. Yeah, I haven't seen him really do comedy too much.
Well, Fight Club, there's humor. There's a lot of humor in Fight
That's
Club.
true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not a comedy. Like there's kind of comedy in it. Like yeah, kind of like that. Like there's some
Yeah.
humor amongst the group. But I feel I picked him because I think he can pull a lot of emotion out of his actors.
Yeah.
Which this is really going to require, right? There's like you're basically it's a prolonged kind of study of how these characters are accepting their fate. So there's going to be a lot of emotion involved. We've seen him do that with like Gone Girl and in Seven. Those are two of the examples that I pulled from for that. I think my vision for this is also being very visually sleek.
Okay.
Like kind of it's gonna be relatively dark. There's gonna be like kind of scenes maybe around like the pool of the house at night or when they're going on tours around the island and stuff, and like yeah, sleek is the word I came up with, and the examples I pulled was The Killer, The Social Network, two
Good.
Fincher films, like kind of that kind of vibe. And I think he's great with dialogue heavy material, which is
for
exactly
sure.
what this is going to be.
Yeah, Zodiac is a great example of that.
Yeah.
Another plug of one of our episodes. Go check that out.
That's right.
After you listen to this. But no, it's good. I mean, we just talked about how Finch, like Fight Club is like one of my favorite movies. So like you're not gonna hear any complaints about you.
True,
picking
yeah,
Fincher.
it's cheat code.
Yeah. So I didn't go that route with my director, but that's still a great director. I went with Denis Villeneuve. So
okay.
I went the Canadian route.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went the Canadian route. I'm wearing the Raptors shirt because I said it's in Toronto. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. If I'm gonna make a movie in Toronto,
Nice.
let me get a Canadian director. He's from Montreal. He's not from Quebec. I mean, it's not he is from Quebec. He's not from Toronto, but
Yeah.
I'm sure he's been to Toronto. Like
I'm
he
sure.
knows
he's been to TIFF.
That's true. He knows Canadian culture. Like I'm sure he knows Toronto from 2003. And if not, he can also do his research. But I rock with him because like I really like his style too. Like he's got I was talking about how working within like the dark and like Prisoners is a movie I think of. Arrival is a
exactly
movie
what
I
I
think
thought
of.
of,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Is a movie I think of. And I think he has shown that he can do action well too with Blade Runner 2049 and Dune as well. Like it's a different type of action. There is some one-on-one combat. It's a lot of, I mean, it's a war movies when you think about it, Dune. So there's like a lot of like big action. This is gonna be a lot more close, but I still think he can do it. So I went with Denis Villeneuve for those reasons because I just like those films a lot, and I feel like his style works with what I think I'd want to be done in this movie. And he's Canadian, so I also was
Yeah,
giving
and
him
you
that
picked
nod.
the psychological thriller, like you said, Prisoners. That's exactly like a very dark,
Exactly.
eerie kind of vibe throughout the whole movie. In that sense, Arrival as well is like like the feel is very dark and
Yeah.
eerie, even though like maybe the subject matter is not as like morbid.
Mhm.
But I think that's a really good pick based on the information I have already
Yeah.
of what you're like the premise and the feel that you're going for
Mhm.
and the action that you're talking about. Like you're right in Dune, like there's massive set pieces, but there also is like very like there's one-on-one. There's Paul and Fade Rotha that they get
Yeah.
their one-on-one. There's
Mhm.
a lot of like hand-to-hand sword fights and stuff. Like I think he can do it
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I was
in the
thinking,
dark.
yeah, I was thinking about that exact fight you just mentioned too, and part of me was like, I think it'd be the fights in this movie would be a little more up pace because that was like a very conclusion.
Right.
Like I'm not going to spoil what happened for those that didn't see the movie, but it's a very like conclusion, slow paced, kind of like dramatic fight. There would be one of those in this movie, but I feel like I'd have a couple action scenes, and they wouldn't all be that as
No. Yeah.
like final.
Right.
But that's a good.
Yeah,
I do
well,
like.
that's when where literally everyone's sitting and like watching.
Yeah,
these two
exactly.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be and the concept of this movie might be a little too like dramatic. We'd be like, okay, what's going on here? Like, why is
Yeah.
everyone watching this?
But I think that like another thing that would add to the chaos almost of your movie is that like it almost is like a post-apocalyptic in a way that it's not an apocalypse, but like during the blackout you'd have people like running around looting and like
Yeah.
people trying to do running on around with their own crazy stories. Maybe someone else's wife is also stuck somewhere and he's
Yeah.
got to help her, or someone, there's someone's kid is stuck and she's got to go help him out. And like, there'd just be so much chaos happening around that. Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, I'm
This is
glad you
great.
like it.
I'm
I
loving
see
this.
you're embracing, so you're adding elements I didn't even
Yeah,
think
true.
about.
I'm
I like
writing your
that.
story. My bad. My bad.
I mean, no, it's good. I like it. I'll write that down for. I mean, right. This is recorded. I can just go back and
That's
let's
right. Yeah.
steal that. Make sure Scott doesn't get credit
Yeah,
for it.
we gotta like copyright this stuff, man. We're giving out a whole blueprint to two movies.
We got it right
now.
here, bro. This is our proof.
That's true.
There was a girl that
All right.
last time, like I remember she put out, this is related. She put out a video saying how like, oh, these people stole like my concept. Like I made this video from like way back then. So I'm getting ready for this, yo. I'm gonna be like, yo,
Okay.
back in May of whatever, Netflix made this movie. That's my movie.
Yeah.
Toronto Darkness 48 Hours. What the heck is that? That's my movie.
Yeah.
Where's my check?
Directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. You imagine they did everything I said.
Your whole cast list, it's everything's exactly the same.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. But no, I appreciate you giving me ups on my director.
Hell yeah.
The next one is just as important. There's a couple ways you could go with this, but your assistant coach, your writer. So I'm curious to see who you had as the writer for your movie.
I kind of cheated here because this would never happen, but my writer is Greta Gerwig.
Okay.
Because I feel like if she's gonna write it, she's gonna direct it as well. But
yeah, I know what you.
whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I was thinking the same thing too. Where I was like, imagine I got like, no, I didn't do this, but like Nolan and Tarantino writing, like that just wouldn't happen. But
Yeah.
this is our movie, so it
Exactly.
can happen.
So Greta's my writer.
Yeah.
I wanted her because she's a little bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you'll see like with the cast that I chose, I wanted it to be like kind of a younger group.
Yeah.
Especially because I was thinking also some of the characters and like what they do, it makes sense for them to be a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And like the concept of a group of friends like going on this trip, like I think there's just be more tension, more things unsaid, more kind of like juice within the group with a younger group, rather than if they're a little bit older and people already have had kids and live their lives and stuff, maybe they'd be a little more accepting of death. So like the looming death also has a little more punch behind it because it's a younger group. So that's why I wanted her. Also the tone and the feel within the group, I think she would do well with that dark comedy. I think she's a great writer, and she's my writer.
That's good. That's a good
But she's
pick.
not directing. Sorry, Greta.
That's a good pick. I have to watch more of her movies. There's I haven't seen all of her movies. Yeah, no, 100%. We 100% do them on the pod. Like she's from the movies I have seen, I've enjoyed. So I see what you mean. How I think she would add like a different element to the movie. And again, I'm gonna hear your cast, and then it'll probably make even more sense of why you picked her. Obviously,
That's right.
But that's a great pick. For me, my assistant coach is probably not too well known. He's his name is Clement Virgo, and I wasn't too familiar with him, but I went to TIFF one time and I just with Eloise, and I was like, yo, you want to just go watch a movie? Let's try one of these new I guess independent movies that we wouldn't really know about. Let's just check it out. Let's kind of read the synopsis and then let's see what it is. And we read one synopsis, movie called Brothers, and the starring character, he's pretty big, like Aaron Pierre. I'm sure you've heard of him. Do you know?
Sounds familiar.
He played Mufasa. There's a whole meme about him.
okay.
Like there's a whole meme about anyone that knows. There's like this whole like moms love him. He's like
The moms love him?
moms love him. Yeah, he was in an interview with I can't remember what show it was. I think it was Jennifer Hudson, and he was doing like his walk, and like when you do their walk, they sing for you, and they're doing like Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa.
This guy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I know this guy, the light-skinned dude with the eyes.
exactly. Yeah, he's gonna be Green Lantern. But
That's
anyway,
right, yeah.
besides the point, the movie that we went to go see starred him, and it was called Brothers. And as we were watching it, I didn't even realize it's actually about two brothers that grew up in Toronto, and it's based off a book. So we were watching the movie. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like it's like Toronto, like in the '90s, and like one guy's, they're both Caribbean dudes too. It's very close to us. Like these two.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't grow up in Toronto, but it's like two Caribbean brothers.
And we're not brothers.
Yeah, I know. But I just mean the fact that we're Caribbean and that we're in like Canada, and like they grew up in the '90s, and like one of them wants to be a rapper, and it's just like, yeah, it's just their dynamic. And he's also from Canada, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a guy that's actually
he?
from not Aaron Pierre. Clement Virgo.
Oh,
Clement
okay,
Virgo.
okay,
Yeah, the guy
right,
that
right.
I'm writing this. He
Yeah,
directed
yeah.
and wrote this based off a book. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get Denis to direct it. I'm gonna get a guy that's like from Toronto to write the movie about Toronto. It's gonna feel because they can work together. Like Denis, obviously, he's not known for being a writer director. Which no discredit to him at all, but he finds the perfect ways of taking uh whatever the content is and picking the perfect things that work for the movie. Some things like no, that wouldn't work in a movie, and I feel like he does that so well. And them kind of structuring my script, and one guy can be like bring in the authenticity of Toronto, and then he can go back and forth, and they can kind of discuss what things work visually. And I wasn't around. Well, I was around in 2003, but there's not much. Everything I could do is a lot of research. That dude, he was actually around in Toronto in 2003. He might have been actually there for that event.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
shout out Todd. Todd's the one that my buddy Todd. He's a listener to the show. If he's listening to this episode, he told me about this, and he experienced. He's like, yeah, you don't remember that blackout? I was like, dog, I was like 7, and I was in
Yeah,
Ottawa, so like I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, that's crazy. And I told him I was like, that sounds like a crazy idea for a movie.
right.
So I was like 48. That's literally sounds like some made up movie stuff. No power for 48 hours in a city, and it really happened. So I was like, got to do it.
I mean,
That's
it happened. It actually happened here in Ottawa few years ago. There was like a tornado and it knocked out.
oh yeah, yeah,
Actually, it
yeah.
wasn't the whole city though. It wasn't the whole
Mm,
city. It was like a section of the city. It was like it was where my house was. It was out for like a
yeah.
week.
Damn. Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
there's your next movie.
Yes.
But yeah, Clement Virgo. That's my right. That's what I'm
Clement
going
Virgo.
to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else? Is there anything else that he's written that maybe
He's
like?
pretty new. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
you know anything. Like he's
Okay.
pretty like that movie only came out a couple years ago, and before then he was doing a lot of producing. Like he was a producer on The
Mhm.
Wire, so he's been at this for a while. He's been doing stuff. He produced the Bob Marley. He was an executive producer on the Bob Marley movie. So he's been doing a lot of. It was a lot of producing, and then now he's getting into like doing directing and writing stuff. So he's new on this in this stage of his career. But
I like
I
that
like the
though. I
brothers.
like that you got a new person because I was looking at that too when I was looking through writers. There was all these like legendary writers. I almost picked like the Coen brothers.
Yeah,
No Country for Old Men. I was
yeah.
like, okay, that's a dialogue heavy
Mm,
script. I was like, maybe that would be good for me. But I was like, I want something a little fresh, something
yeah.
a little new. So I like that you went that route too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The next one we have is our team identity. So this is the location. I mean, I kind of talked about what mine is. So where's
Yeah.
and you kind of did too, but you can kind of briefly put more
Yeah,
detail if
I
you
mean
have any.
mine is I picked it'll be a small remote island obviously, so like not even a big I didn't even pick one with a name. It would
Yeah.
be I mean the whole point is that it's secluded, like
Hmm.
it doesn't have any established anything. If that were the case then they would be able to try and get help or anything.
Yeah.
But in the south of Asia, kind of
Okay.
near like Bali, Indonesia, kind of that
Oh, okay.
region.
Okay.
And in present time. I'm
Okay.
picking it's in the present.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't. That's interesting. Again, I'm still. We're building till we get to these characters, but now that I'm hearing what it is and like where it is, I'm like, I don't know if I'm expecting. There's no way I'm gonna guess who your characters are, but I'm already. I'm having some in my head already. I'm thinking like, okay, we'll see if I'm.
I mean, maybe you are having the same because like once I've had the premise and I was like, okay, it's gonna be this tropical island, kind of like a White Lotus, maybe feel
Mm,
to it a little bit, like that kind of. Um,
and
so I was like,
yeah.
okay, and then I thought of like what do I want to do with all my characters? Like, what do I want this character to be like, this character
Yeah.
to be like, and then I cast from there. So if you're the wheels are spinning in your head in the same sense, then maybe you're picking the same kind of people.
Yeah,
We'll see.
maybe. Again, I said with my, it's I have the exact date, August 14th, 2003, Toronto. That's when the 48 Hours of Blackness happening. So that's my team identity. That's exactly when it is.
Okay. Well,
2003.
maybe it'll start the day before though. Or you're not gonna
Yeah,
get
that's
us
true.
established. You got to make us character. You got to make us care
No, that's
about this
true.
the wife
Yeah,
and daughter
it
and
is. Yeah, that's
you
true.
you gotta
It's
give us some
we're gonna
time
start on the
before.
13th, and then
Oh,
we're gonna
right.
go
Okay.
into the blackness. It's not gonna be like we're
Perfect.
not gonna start right into it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there's gotta be a little bit of establishment. You're
Or
right.
you could and do like flashbacks or something.
That's true.
As Denis.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
As Denis when he
Yeah,
wants to
that's
do.
what I'm saying. They're gonna look at the script and be like, you know what, this works better. Let's pull this over here. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna hand those guys the script and they're gonna work their magic. I trust
Right.
I trust their vision. That's why I picked them. That's my coach. That's my assistant coach. So
That's right.
I
Yeah.
have faith
Yeah.
in
You're
them.
the GM. You're just you're not choosing. You're not picking lineups
Yeah,
and
exactly.
running plays and stuff. You're giving them the ingredients and
And
on
make it
them.
work. That's what I'm saying. You got to make it work.
Yep.
Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. So now we're getting in to our point guard. So who's our lead? Who's your lead of the movie, Scott?
My lead, I kind of, I don't even know who necessarily is my lead. Like I kind of, like I said, this is this group of friends, so
Okay.
they're kind of all on an equal playing field
I guess
as
top
far as
bill.
like,
Does that
yeah,
make
I
it
guess.
easier to?
Well, top bill, I guess would just be biggest name. So I would go Robert Pattinson. Then
Okay.
is my lead.
Okay, I like that.
So Robert Pattinson is my lead, and he plays his character. He's kind of like the environmentalist of
Okay.
the group. He's on the trip because he's never been to this area. He's gung ho about the touring around the island, seeing the vegetation, the animals, that kind of thing. Um, but after they find out, about so I kind of have a note on what they do after they find out,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
we'll have the start of the movie where we're
Of
introducing
course.
everybody, and then they find out that they're all going to die in a few days.
Yeah.
So he becomes very morbid
Mm-hmm.
after finding out, and he kind of realizes and thinks that all of his efforts that he's made his whole life, to be green and a good person and all this stuff are kind of for nothing. And maybe he dips down into a depression, and
Okay.
I don't know how crazy Greta and Fincher and
Wanna
David want to
get.
get, if they even explore if he gets suicidal or anything like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's where his character's going.
Okay.
Robert Pattinson.
Interesting. I'm curious. Is he playing like a British guy or is he playing an American guy?
That's a good question.
I don't know if that
I didn't even think
mattered
of that.
in your story because I mean he is British. Like we've seen
Yeah,
him do
true.
multiple
You know
accents.
what? Yeah, I like that. We'll make him British. This will be like kind of an international. Yeah, actually, this works perfectly. He's British. Yeah,
Okay.
he's British.
All
This
right, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, he's British.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, because that was the first thing I thought of. Because like when you have those actors, it's like, well, he's been playing a lot of American characters, but he also is
Mhm.
British. I don't know. Not necessarily that like makes or breaks your movie, but I guess that is a pretty big part of the movie. Actually, I guess depending
Yeah,
like where your main character is from. So okay, he's British. I'm
yeah.
curious to see
Yeah. Yeah. No,
that
it's
clicks
perfect.
something in your head. So I'm curious to
It's
see why that tied with the other characters. So that's
yeah.
interesting. All right, no, it's good. My character is my lead character is Hugh Jackman.
Ooh,
Yeah, I
okay.
went with Hugh Jackman, and it's kind of
That's the
there.
Denis
I
tie.
was gonna say there's the Denis tie. We talked about Prisoners, and
Yeah.
his character is actually pretty. He's pretty similar to that character, like Keller. That was the name of that
Mhm.
character in Prisoners. And it's not that is not that character because this guy is going to be like ex-Canadian military, but it's that same kind of like no nonsense. Like I need because Prisoners about he needs to find his daughter. So I was thinking
Yeah.
about this guy's no nonsense. I need to find my daughter and my wife. He's like I'm
Mhm.
no nonsense kind of character, and he's obviously there's going to be layers, and the layers will slowly break. I don't know if we want to do the flashback things, but we'll learn more about this character as it progresses. But I got to go with Hugh because like I was like, I need a strong lead. We were joking about. I was like, it's gonna be Jason Statham. It's gonna be Keanu. I was like, well, he's Wolverine, so people look at that's a strong. He's a believable strong lead. So
Yeah.
that's why I want to pay. And obviously, it's
Oh.
even
And
now. Honestly, even in his old
is he
age,
Australian?
now he's a
Or is he
Canadian. He's gonna
Canadian?
be
He's
Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
be Canadian. He's been a play. Wolverine was a Canadian, so this is the second time playing
Yeah.
another Canadian. So
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too. You were like ex-Canadian military, and
oh yeah, true.
yeah, I was like,
He is a Wolverine. Yeah,
he's half Wolverine, half Heller.
yeah. So yeah,
Sans claws.
that's what I went with.
Good pick. Okay,
Thank
Hugh
you.
Jackman. I
Appreciate
like
it.
it.
Appreciate it. So we got so our next one we have our shooting guard. So I put a shooting guard as the villain because I feel like that's the 1-2 punch. Those are your
Mhm.
big ones. So who's your villain of this movie?
Now, again, just based on the premise, I don't really have a villain per
Okay.
se. You know what I mean? But I
The
guess
virus, death.
death. Ooh,
Uh,
I didn't even. Yeah, that could be. But that's not what I went with.
Okay,
That would be, yeah, that'd be introducing like a supernatural kind of element
oh,
to
I
it.
didn't
That
even
would be,
like that, but yeah, that works too.
ooh,
I just meant like
that would be cool.
yeah.
I didn't even think of that. But okay, so that's not what I thought of. So
Okay.
that's not what I went with. But it is a cool idea. So I just gave my shooting guard to Daniel Kaluuya
Okay.
So this is why I was excited about Pattinson. So he'll be
Oh,
British too.
British too.
So these will be so my group will be from kind of all over the place. So we
Mm,
got these are two British guys, and I don't know how this group met. I don't know.
yeah.
We'll figure that out. Greta
Mm,
will figure that out.
yeah.
So yeah, Daniel Kaluuya is my shooting guard, and his character. So he comes from money.
Mm,
He's very privileged. He's an excessive drinker,
okay.
because he's never had to work a day in his life. He's
Yeah.
kind of like a lazy partier kind of guy. He's
Okay. Yeah.
very reckless and carefree, but he's very generous.
Okay.
He's very generous.
Okay. I
So
like
that's
that.
where, so like, again, villain, like he has these negative quality. All of my characters have some positive, some negative, and
Mhm.
so yeah, he's not really a villain, but that's
Okay.
kind of the next
No.
group
Okay, I like
member.
that. I'm interested, like, that dynamic, like, are they close? Those two? Like, do they have like a kinship at all? Or they're kind of just like how close is the relationship?
Yeah,
If
maybe
you
they're
thought about
like
that.
maybe they're like adopted brothers or something.
Okay. Okay,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. No.
Like him and Pattinson. Is that too much? I
No,
don't
no,
know.
that's not too much. I just immediately thought of like Barney and his brother for like How I Met Your Mother. That's why I started laughing when I think of black and
Yeah,
white
that's
and
right.
brothers.
That's why I said adopted, but like
Yeah.
no, they're not okay, they met in school,
Okay.
and okay, because Daniel Kaluuya's character, yeah, he comes from money, but like I said, he doesn't he's very reckless and everything, so his parents wanted to teach him, the value of the dollar and hard work, so they put him in public school. And
Okay.
that's how he met
All
Robert
right.
Pattinson.
Okay, I like that.
There is some depth to these characters, man.
Yeah,
Let me tell
I
you.
like that. Again, I was just curious. I'm just like I was trying to think, what's the relationship here? I'm trying to
No,
see
I'm
what
glad
this
you're at. These are
dynamic.
good questions. I'm
Yeah,
glad you're
yeah,
asking these questions.
that's good. I
It's good.
like that. That's a good casting. I'm already I bought in from your premise immediately, but like those two actors, those are great actors to have already. Like,
Yeah, I mean, budget is no object or
no,
anything
budget's
in
no
this, so
object.
I
Yeah,
went.
and age is no object too, in the sense of like if you want to, because I'm kind of doing this. Like even I said with Hugh Jackman, I'm like, this is like a younger Hugh Jackman. Like
Okay,
I'm gonna name
okay,
some
yeah.
people, maybe they're older now, but like I'm thinking of them like at a specific age to be in this movie as it works.
Mm,
It doesn't have to necessarily have to be them right now, because then you kind of limit yourself. You know what I mean? Like maybe you want to pick Tom Cruise, you want to pick Will or Denzel, but you want to pick like a younger version of them. Because like
yeah,
then they kind of get type casted in being like just the older character or like that kind of figure. You can still have them be like the young chap or whatever it is. Did you got some British dudes in there?
kind of wish I knew that going in, because I did go based on age. Like
Oh,
all my characters are not that like I still got some great actors. I'm not
yeah,
mad
yeah,
about
yeah.
it,
Mhm.
but this like yeah, no, I'm happy. I wouldn't change it even
Okay,
if I knew
yeah,
that, but like because I want them all to be around the same. I mean, it's a group of friends, so like they would be all around the same age
yeah.
anyways, so it works out.
Okay, I guess I should have told you that before. I mean, I just
Ah, it
kind of
doesn't
thought
matter.
about it because I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, I guess these guys aren't all their ages right now. But again, it's
Yeah,
such
it really doesn't matter.
no,
We're
exactly.
making a fake movie.
Yeah, we're having fun with it. Yeah, exactly. So the next, oh yeah, my villain actually. I almost jumped into the
Yeah,
next
who's
one.
your villain?
So
Who's
my
the
villain,
crazy ex husband?
yeah. So I was laughing at this. I held in my excitement because mine is Christian Bale, and I
Oh,
have him kind of structured around Patrick Bateman.
oh no
Yeah,
way.
that's why I didn't
Okay.
like. When I was just thinking like psycho crazy killer, and I was like, let me use Bale, and like he can kind of tap into his Patrick Bateman. It's obviously not gonna be the exact same character, but like at least it will be like that believable thing of like, okay, we've seen this guy do the crazy thing before, so he's gonna do it again in this movie. And
Mm.
I to tie it into this is like we also got the chemistry from the Prestige, because it
Oh,
was
that's right.
Bale and it was Hugh Jackman in
And
that,
Jackman,
so like
yeah, that's
they've
right.
worked together before, so and like they were good on screen together, so I think I like that dynamic. I was thinking about that too, like who would like a good pairing. I think your pairing works too. I don't think those two have been in a movie before,
I don't think so. I
but I
I
still think
did
it would
I did
work.
yeah, I did think of like chemistry while I was kind of casting this stuff, and I tried to get characters that based on the characters that like their character description and kind
Yeah.
of what their dynamic would be within the group,
Mhm.
um to try and get them to fit together. But Christian Bale, I mean, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
You're right. Him and Jackman have done it together. The American Psycho, like the Patrick Bateman thing, I feel like he'd be maybe a little like, because in American Psycho, he's like hiding it, right? Like he's
Yeah.
so like normal outwards.
hmm
Not normal, but like
Yeah.
reserved and like trying to be at least. Maybe this one, is he more outwardly crazy, or is he still kind of reserved and just hiding it?
So my kind of idea was the fact that I was playing off of that character in the sense of like it's almost kind of pretending like in an Ultimate Universe, Patrick Bateman was that same character but had a wife, and he was still doing all like the like killing and stuff on the side, and then eventually he just snapped and kind of got caught, and that's why he's going to trial. And now that wife
Ah,
left him and is now with this guy, and like that's the same crazy Patrick. But he was hiding it, but now it's out, and like everyone knows he's crazy. So it's like that same kind of like quirky, crazy. It's almost like Joker esque. He's not really the Joker, but it's just like in the
yeah,
sense of like he's somewhat well, actually, Patrick Bateman, if you really think about it, he's not that intelligent. He's pretty goofy if you go back and watch the movie.
yeah.
But this guy would be a little more intelligent and a little more like thought provoking, even though he's very short tempered and is very impulsive. So that was kind of my thought with that character. He's
Mm,
not hiding it anymore, and especially now
yeah,
that we're in the darkness and everything, and now he can feel like he can let himself loose. He's gonna talk in his
that's right.
head too. He's gonna talk in his head like Patrick Bateman. We're gonna get
Ooh,
those.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
The little self narration and be
exactly.
like, "No, Patrick, you can't get my wife. Why not?
Yeah,
Because she's my wife. Why the hell not?"
exactly. So that's where I went with my shooting guard, my AK, my villain. And
Nice.
I don't know if this kind of messes up your thing because in the sense of you talked about how like your villain, you didn't really have a villain. Because the next one I put is center, which is kind of like our supporting lead. So I don't know who you kind of put for that.
Yeah, this one I have. Well, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So my supporting lead would be Margot Robbie,
Okay.
and her character, so she's a social media influencer.
hmm
So she's, so when she's on the trip, she's very materialistic, very bougie. Um, so when the connection cuts out, remember in the first night, the storm comes and knocks out the internet access and everything like that. Everyone else is kind of like, this sucks, but like, we can still have a great trip. It's not that big of a deal. She she gets very animated about this, right?
Mm,
Because she's got to be posting her stuff. She's got to be talking to her followers and all this stuff. So
yeah.
she gets very crazy about that. She's very selfish. Um, and then when they notice about the turn, right? When they
hmm
find out about the big turn that they're all gonna die, she is then more accepting almost than anybody
Okay.
else because she kind of goes through life a lot more loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Less. I don't want to say reckless, but like she has the pretty privilege. She's just gone through life. She's had things handed to her, and she gets by posting on Instagram. So she's a little more accepting of the fate.
Okay. Is she gonna be like? Is she kind of ditzy, or is it like there's a little bit of like?
No, I think she's more, like I said, like materialistic and bougie and selfish. So like that's kind of her negative. I don't want her to be stupid as well.
Yeah.
I also think that's just like a stereotype
Yeah.
that like
No, for sure.
beautiful women are stupid. So
hmm
I didn't want to like just double
Go
down
heavy
on
into
that
the
stereotype.
tropes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So no, I think she's a smart character. Like she understands, she still has value and she's a smart person, but like that doesn't mean she's not, you know, taking advantage of the opportunities that have been given to her. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that.
hmm
So yeah, she's still a smart character. I
Okay.
don't see her being ditzy.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's good. No, I was just kind of get the vibe of just kind of like how her character was gonna act, like as she's doing the social media stuff, and then when it goes away, and just trying to get a
Yeah.
sense of that. But no,
Yeah,
it's
it's
interesting.
more like an anger because, like she would have obviously, like her followers, she's on this
Yeah.
trip and like this is her lifestyle. This is her source of income, right?
hmm
So like and maybe she had like a brand deal with someone and she got to
Mm.
post like all these bikini pictures, right? She's
Yeah.
sponsored by this bikini store and she's got to post AG1 and she got to post, like she
Yeah.
got all these
Yeah.
she got
Yeah.
all this stuff and now that's what's messing her up. So like
Okay.
she's a
Yeah.
mogul, man. She's like I said, I wanted my characters to have good and bad. I didn't want anybody
Yeah.
to be the perfectly morally right and anybody to be the negative morally wrong person. I wanted them all to have good and bad qualities. So
Okay.
That's what balances her out.
No, it's good. I like that. That's a good pick. When you picked what's it called? Greta, I was like, is Margot gonna be in this? I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
we got
there's that
exactly.
little
Yeah, we got
tie. I
them
was
working
thinking,
together. Yeah, we got
yeah.
them working together. I don't think Fincher's worked with any of my actors.
Oh, I
Now that I
think you're
think about
right.
it.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't matter. It's not like he
No,
needs
it
to.
doesn't matter.
But
But
no,
I
but
just thought
that's
of it.
interesting. Yeah, that was my guess. When you said the Greta thing, I was like, oh, I think I kind of have an idea.
She's not my
Maybe.
lead though.
Yeah, I was
I guess
wrong
she
about
could
that.
be. Like I said, it's kind of
Yeah, no, exactly.
everyone's kind of on equal
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
field, I
yeah.
guess.
But she's a character. But no, I like
Yeah.
that. That's a good pick. So for me, I went with my supporting lead. I picked Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay.
So I'm kind of basing it off slightly off his character from Boys in the Hood. So like you know
Okay.
how he was like, I don't want to say he's like militant, but he's also gonna be kind of like boys with like Hugh like Jackman's character. Like they both served together. I don't know actually like how close their ages are actually. Probably he was like a little bit older, but he's I say he's like I picked that specific character too because like I have obviously like the black character that like for the people that have seen Boys in the Hood, I'll just explain it. He was um, kind of the serious one out of all the group of friends, but he could still like goof around. You know,
Hmm.
like when he's telling the stories about like when he met that girl, like his first time to his dad. Like he can still be kind of goofy, and like, I want that element to still be in there where it's like when stuff needs to get done, like he can be serious and get stuff done. But there's gonna be some funny moments, and he's gonna be with it and give us those funny moments. So I thought he was a really good pick. I also think he's a really great actor too. He's
Yeah.
mostly known for like some of his like the work back in like the 90s, 2000s, and I mean he played OJ in that OJ show, which he was really good in that. But I felt like he was a good spot.
Well, I just looked it up. Hugh Jackman's 56 and Cuba's 57.
Oh,
So you're right on the money there.
okay, so yeah, they would have
Nice
been
work.
perfect age. Yeah,
And I like that comparison to Boys in the Hood. That's a really good comparison. Like he's
Mhm.
not comparison, but like a good kind of evidence to draw off of to say like, yeah, he can be like a smart, well put together character, but also kind of have that
Other side.
humor.
Yeah,
So there's going to be a little bit of humor in this too,
yeah.
psychological thriller, a little bit of touch of humor.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be kind of like almost like dry or like humor where it's just like it's just like they're not like trying to punch the joke really hard. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, where it's just like a funny scenario can kind of happen, then maybe he'll react in a funny way, or he'll say something kind of
Yeah.
funny.
Or they'll just look at each other like,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
see that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he'll definitely have some one-liners in there, but he won't be just like freaking just like hitting it home.
Just
And
quippy.
yeah, I think, but yeah, that's why I went with him because I feel like
I
he's
like
good.
that. Okay.
Good. Thank you, thank you.
Cool.
We got two more. We got our. I said I put this kind of open too. Like we are power forward, so it's kind of like the love interest, or it could be just like a family member, or just basically just another cared for I guess character cared
Yeah.
for character. It sounded weird saying it like that, but who did you get? How for your
So
power forward?
she is a love interest. So she's the girlfriend of my last character, who I
Okay.
will reveal when we
Oh,
get there.
okay. Okay. Yeah.
In my group is 3 single friends and 1 couple.
Okay.
So it's Brie Larson.
Okay.
I picked Brie Larson. Her character, she's very organized
Hmm.
and really wants to stick to a plan. So she was the planner of the group. She organized this whole trip. This is where we're gonna go. We're gonna do this tour this day. We're gonna do that. Do this. Um, and after they find out, she starts being more spontaneous
Hmm.
and regrets not doing it sooner. Like
Mm.
kind of all bets are off. She's like, okay, I'm gonna die anyways, so might as well do some crazy stuff. Like I still wasn't sure if like after they find out, kind of immediately, obviously they'd have how they all react, how they're talking to each other. I think they'd start to kind of blow up at each other a little bit, and there would be some humor in that too, where they're like, man, fuck you. Like I thought you're like Brie Larson's character, for example,
Hmm.
man, you're always planning shit. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Like just loosen up a little bit,
Yeah.
like the stuff like this where they kind of get mad at each other because again, all bets are off. Like
Yeah.
there's no sense in sugarcoating stuff anymore. Even with your friends, you don't have to worry about them liking you. You're going to be dead in 2 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I wasn't sure if like afterwards if they would kind of explore the island a little bit, like fuck it, we got 3 days. We
Yeah.
might as well get crazy, like go and do some wild stuff. So that's what her character would be doing. She'd be going
Okay.
crazy, be like, I've been so reserved and stuck to a plan my whole life. I'm about to die. Let's go crazy.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting pick. I would have. What was your inspiration for picking Brie
For
exactly? Was it
Brie,
yeah? Was there a movie that like you saw her in, or just like you just feel like it works with that
I
character?
think. Well, I think, like I said, like kind of like almost the start. Her character at the start of the movie is it's kind of maybe mean to say, but like she's an unlikable character, and I could see Brie Larson doing.
That's why I was
doing
surprised you picked her because I was
I could
like,
see her
I know there's a
doing
lot of
that.
people that don't like her.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, but that's she's like, there's not that there's anything wrong with being organized and sticking to a
Yeah,
plan, but she's like a stickler for it.
yeah,
So like at the start when maybe the group's like, oh, let's try and do that over there, and she's like, no, but we're supposed to be doing this and stuff like like, so it's kind
hmm
of an unlikable side to that character, and I immediately thought Brie Larson. That's why I
That's
picked her.
good. That's good. I like your reasoning too.
Sorry, Brie.
Yeah, yeah. She listens. For those that didn't know, she didn't answer in the family meeting this time. Usually she does. Maybe she knew
Yeah,
she felt
she's
this was
not family.
coming.
She's a friend.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah,
friend, not
exactly.
family.
She's actually in the Fast and Furious movies. I don't know if you knew that. She's in the 10th one.
Oh, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Okay,
So
she's in the 10th one.
I've
But
seen all the other ones,
yeah.
but like,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry, Brie.
Sorry, Brie.
So for me, my love interest is, which is I'm revealing the wife now, is
Mhm.
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, okay.
And this is another tie to the Prestige because Christian Bale's wife in the Prestige was Scarlett Johansson. So then you can kind of get that other mirroring of it. You're almost thinking like, hey, he stole his wife from that movie, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't want to get what's the old guy that plays Alfred in The Dark
Oh
Knight? He's
yeah,
also
Michael
you didn't
Caine.
want to hit. Yeah, you didn't want Michael Caine as your
I mean, then I might as well make it a Nolan
supporting.
movie. Yeah, Nolan's
All
like,
right, we're just gonna take the Prestige, put it in Toronto.
yeah, and Denise. Sorry, yeah, Denise taking over this time. Sorry,
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, no, I went with Scarlett Johansson, and like, it's tough because like she either has been in the Marvel movies or she's done some like indie movies. And the indie movies that I have seen her in, like I don't as like a comparison thing because of what I've been doing, she doesn't really fit those characters she played in those indie movies. So I'm going with her in this. I guess this is an indie movie, but not like those dramas that she's doing. A movie called The Chef, and in that she's just kind of just playing like a normal wife. You know what I mean? It's not like, again, she's not the what's it called, the Russian assassin that she is in Marvel. She's not
Yeah,
that in this. She's not necessarily she's like a damsel in distress. I think she can handle herself to a certain extent, but she's not so like some ass kicking machine. She's just a normal person.
not like
You
Hugh
know?
Jackman.
Yeah, exactly. She's just a normal wife that loves her kids, and you know what I mean. So like, she's just normal.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Well, I
that's
guess
the love
we
interest.
could probably get to see her. Like she can get a couple moments, maybe like while Hugh and Christian Bale are scrapping each other or whatever, trying to get to her. She can maybe get a couple moments where, because like we said, in the chaos of this blackout, maybe there's someone trying to rob her or like
Yeah,
kidnap the daughter or whatever, and then she can fight them off, and like they can find some opportunities to give her moments.
that's a good point. There you go. Now you're building, and I want to go add to that where it's set where that is a good thing of like having her. She can defend herself, but like there's obviously going to be levels to this, and like
Hmm.
the Patrick Bateman character that is great played by Christian Bale, he's on another level. Like she can handle herself like with like this stuff, but like when it comes to him, that's kind of like the foil where it's like
Yeah,
she wouldn't be able to handle him, but she can take care of herself, and she's been kind of doing a little bit of self defense because she had that crazy ex husband. So now she feels like I need to protect
that's
myself.
right.
She's not all the way at the level of the Black Widow, but
Yeah,
she's somewhere. I shouldn't say somewhere in between because that's a big leap. She's maybe
yeah,
like a
yeah.
quarter of her way there.
But she
She
can
can
still
handle
kick some ass,
herself.
protect her daughter, and
Exactly. She can handle herself.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my love interest. Our last one we have is our small forward, which honestly in the NBA that's probably a little more of important of a position, but just rock with me here. That's our sixth man, aka our kind of I don't want to say side character, but just another character.
Yeah. For me, yeah, it's all pretty even. But anyways,
Yeah.
um, so this is Brie Larson's boyfriend,
Okay.
maybe fiance. I don't
Okay.
know. It doesn't matter.
It's up to you.
So it's Simu Liu,
Oh, okay.
who plays Shang-Chi for anyone that
Yeah.
doesn't know. Um, so he, so yeah, him and Bree, they're the couple that are on the trip. They're, we'll say, yeah, they're American. Them and Margot Robbie are friends from
Okay.
Ohio, and they
Mhm.
met Robert and Daniel Kaluuya
In college or
on
something.
yeah,
Oh,
there you
okay.
go.
Okay. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
met him in college. Yeah, that
Okay.
works. Yeah, I
All
like
right.
that. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that's perfect. So yeah, so Sibu, he's very intelligent. He's but he's also kind of conceited,
Okay.
condescending.
Yeah.
You know, he is very smart, but he knows it, and he
Mm.
kind of uses that to put people down some from time to time. So that's his negative quality. And he's also a little bit reckless, not as reckless as Kaluuya's character, but he wishes he could be.
Mm.
But remember, he's with Bree, and she's
Mm.
always holding him back. Like,
Stickler.
no,
Yeah.
no, Simu, we gotta stick
Mm.
to the plan, Simu. We can't be, you know. So, and then after after the change, when they find out, he hooks up with Margot.
Oh.
He hooks up with Margot, so they start getting crazy, and then I don't know, maybe Bree finds out and says, "Oh, we're doing that. All right, well, get over here, Robert. Let's, you
Oh
know, like
snap.
I don't like things. It's gonna get a little crazy. You know, that's what I'm putting my faith in Greta's hands. She's gonna get some. There's gonna be tension, man. There's gonna be scenes where they're
Okay.
yelling at each other, pissed at each other, where they're laughing at each other and roasting each other, where they're again. There's like this. They're basically kind of a little bit of the theme of immortality and like in perfection, because like
Yeah.
they don't care if they die because they know they're going to. So it almost feels like they're invincible. So that's yeah, that's where we're going, and that's Simu's role.
Okay, I like that. I didn't expect the relationship tension and like the what's it called, the sensationalness and even the way you had Bree like, oh, that's what we're doing. Part of me wants to believe that Bree's character has 1/8 black in her, so we can get a
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
Haley
yeah. You're
Steinfeld moment.
right.
You with the twins?
You with the twin? Fuck out of my face. All right, you stuck your tongue in her what? Yeah,
Oh,
this is
that's
great.
a good cast. And hey, I'm jealous. You picked a guy that's from Toronto. He's from Mississauga. I actually read
Yeah.
his book. He's actually got a really interesting story. Like his
Oh, cool.
family immigrating from China and everything. If anyone that wants to go read his book, I forget. I think it's Dreamers. I think is the name of the book. I forget the name of the book, but he's got an interesting
See,
story. So
there's the depth there's the depth in his character too. Like I said, he's very intelligent, right? His parents, they want him to be a doctor. They want to, you
yeah.
know, they're pushing like it's a stereotype in the
Mhm.
Asian culture, but that's what it is. You know, they're
Yeah.
like they want their son to be very smart. They want him to be a doctor or a surgeon or whatever, and
Mhm.
he wants to be a little bit more reckless than that. But that's why he went with Bree, because she's the organized planner. She's safe. His parents approve. But then when they find out they're gonna die, shit hits the fan.
I like that. I like that pick. That's a good. You're giving Fincher a whole cast of people he's never worked with before, so now he's got a whole new
Yeah, and a
crop of
whole
talent to work with.
and the characters, a whole lot of, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there
Oh,
for
for
like a
sure.
lot of crazy stuff to go down.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's it. It's an interesting cast you have. I want to see this movie now.
I
I
want
want
to
to.
see this movie.
Yeah, I want to
I
see
want it
this
to
movie.
happen.
This is good.
Give me a meeting with Fox or something, man. We gotta pitch this.
um,
We'll send them the podcast.
yeah.
We
So
got two bangers here. Take a
yeah,
listen to this.
I for my shooting, my small forward, sorry, like AK my sixth man, I went a different route with it because this character, you're not gonna like this too, by the way. This
Oh no,
character, this character, I only have in for like literally like a scene, but
it's
I
The Rock, isn't it?
no, it's not The Rock. I was gonna make that joke earlier. I was like, man, you ain't gotta tell me your movie. Directed by Scorsese, lead stars The Rock. Like I already know what you want, Scott. No,
Yeah.
no. But no, but so my sixth man is Kevin Hart. I know you don't
Oh,
love.
okay.
I know you're not a huge
Okay.
Kevin Hart fan, but he's not leading this movie, so I think maybe
Yeah, yeah.
maybe you could accept that if you find out that Kevin
Yeah,
Hart's in this
for
movie,
sure.
but he's not. Like I said, he's probably maybe he might get 2 or 3 scenes, but my whole thought is that like I just thought of this funny moment, and I was thinking, I was like, what are all these like? He played so many side characters in so many movies, And I was like, what is one that like I really remember? And I was kind of thinking, this does not necessarily have to be this exact character, but I was thinking about him in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he was kind of like this tech customer, like he's really into tech, and
Oh
he was
yeah.
going through all this like this goofy stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have him be in this movie, and he's gonna be boys with what's it called? Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. It's gonna be his boy. And at one point, they're gonna need to go to him for some reason, like I don't know, he's got supplies or whatever it is, like he's gonna help them out, and they're gonna go to him, and he's gonna be like so distraught, and he's gonna be like, I don't have the whole comedy written for it, but I'm in my head, I'm imagining this being really funny. They're gonna come to him, and he's gonna be all upset, man. He's like, oh man, like we've all lost a lot. There's been a lot of stuff. Like, are you good, man? He's like, and he's gonna be like, man, like it was me, dog. Like I did this.
Oh,
He's gonna think, and he didn't actually do it, but he's gonna think he did it. He's gonna be like, I plugged in too many things. I plugged in too many things. They told me not to plug this many things in. They said
Oh
it
man,
was
I put a friggin' power bar into a power bar, and look what happened.
yeah, exactly. And he's gonna be so upset. He's gonna play that for the
That's
whole scene. He's gonna
amazing.
be upset about it, and they're gonna be pissed, like, "Yo, it wasn't you," and he's just gonna keep playing into it. And I think Kevin Hart can do that so well. And there's gonna be other moments too, but that's the initial thing. They're gonna meet him, and he's gonna be so distraught because he's gonna think he's the reason that the whole city has been shut down for 48 hours. And he's kind of shook about it. He's looking out the windows, being like, "It's only a matter of time before they figure out it's me."
Yeah, Patrick Bateman's coming for me.
Yeah,
I'm in danger.
exactly.
Oh, that's so good. I
So
love that idea.
so
That's great.
that's the little 6-man comment I had to throw in there. So that
That
was my last.
I love that. See, because I thought your six. I thought it was gonna be the daughter. Like you were casting the daughter. Who the daughter was
Oh,
gonna be. I
okay,
thought
yeah,
that was
yeah.
gonna be
No, to
who
me,
it was.
the
But
daughter
I
is
love that
not
you threw that in. That's amazing.
yeah, to me, the daughter can just be an unknown because she's gonna be
Just
pretty
whatever.
young, and it's like it's always tough to put a lot of acting chops into a child in general. It's very rare to get like
Well,
a
how
good.
old is she? Is it like a baby?
No, not a baby. She's gonna be like a toddler, like elementary. That's why I feel like it didn't really matter. It's not gonna. There's no one like of note child actor, especially
Yeah.
nowadays that like are is that person unless it was like any one of the Stranger Things kids. But now they're past that age. Now they're just grown. There
Yeah.
was that time
Well,
when
you
they'd be
said you
in
could
things.
get them from back then.
That is true. That is true. But I'm not going that
Or
route.
you want Macaulay Culkin then?
Yeah,
You want-
no, I'm not going that route. No, I'm not going.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that route. But that's Kevin Hart's the last one I got for that. But we've gone through that's our whole movie now. So like, kind of like wrap it up. Give me like your final pitch. And now we know all your characters, and give us your little. I'm the studio, and now you're pitching me on like
All right, so yeah, just to wrap up. So the
a
premise is
reminder.
a group of friends going to a secluded island. They're away from all help. They find out that they're gonna die because they've been contaminated, and then shit gets crazy. They start turning on each other. Some of them start to get wild. Some of them start to get negative. Um, we'll see what regret it takes it, but yeah. So it's gonna be a drama. There's gonna be some dark comedy in there. They're gonna be making fun of each other. All this. We got David Fincher that's directing the whole thing. Greta Gerwig is writing it. Uh, it's in a small remote island south of Asia in the present time. We got Margot Robbie, the social media influencer. We got Daniel Kaluuya, the privileged drunk. We got Simo Liu, the very intelligent and a little reckless individual. His girlfriend Brie Larson,
Mm.
that's organized and a stickler. And then we got Robert Pattinson, who's our environmentalist adventure boy that gets morbid after they find out.
I like.
But I wasn't sure like exactly how this would end. Like, what do you think? Where do you see this ending? Like, obviously, I want them all to die. Like, I don't want like a helicopter to come and save them
Yeah.
all. And it's all what, or that actually could be if they all like be cause irreparable damage to their relationships, and then they're all saved, and they're like, oh well, shit.
Yeah,
But I think it's better if they all die. But is it all like some of them died sad, some of them were like, okay, I found a new outlook on life, and I've accepted that I've done all I can, and this is my time to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I don't. There can be a mix. What do you think?
I think there's a couple ways. I think with both the ways you described work. I think another way you could go with it is also just having a couple survive. You know what I mean? Like you
Mm.
choose which ones die. Maybe there's one survivor. Maybe there's just two. And you can kind of play with both those things. They now have to go on with their life with whatever transpired with them, and the people that died, they were dying, and then they kind of had their final thoughts, and they kind of had like their come to Jesus moment, and then whatever, like they said their things they had to say, and then they passed away. Or you could do like, yeah, all die, or they could all survive. Like, there's so many. I think any of those ways could work. To be honest.
Yeah. We'll see
Yeah.
what Greta says. We'll see what Greta
I'll
comes
see
up
what you
with.
say. Yeah, you got to keep this down. You keep working on this. You don't even have to think about making it. Just start off as a novel. This could be just something, a little story you write, just short stories. Because you might have something here. You never know.
Hey, you think so? I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
never know, man.
You
Everything
never
starts
know.
with a little grain, and then it grows into a.
Wow. How deep.
Yeah, you never know,
I just
man.
got to water it and let
Yeah,
it grow.
exactly. Just let it grow. Hey, some people I've heard so many people talk about like, oh, I was working on this story for years and years and years. You never know. It's like a
All
fun
right.
little experiment, and then you start to fall in love with your characters, and then you just keep going with it. You never know. Could just be your own
Hey, I
novel.
mean, I do think it's a cool melting pot. I think
Yeah.
it's fireworks waiting to happen, which is
No, exactly.
exciting.
And
But I don't know. I don't have any writing background.
no, you don't have to.
We'll see.
Well,
I'd rather hire Greta.
That's fair. That's fair. So to recap mine, again, I was saying now that we know our characters too. So I got Hugh Jackman as my lead, and he must get to his wife, who is Scarlett Johansson, and his daughter before Patrick Bateman, the ex-husband, who is awaiting trial, gets them in time. So basically, we have the husband, the ex-husband, who is Christopher. Let me start it over. Let's start the meeting over the studio. Like that
Run it
wasn't.
back.
Yeah, run
You
it
guys didn't
back.
hear
Yeah,
that.
you didn't hear
We're
that.
good.
Yeah, okay, so
You're like
Patrick
Bobby
Bateman.
Shmurda, jump up on the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and just lead what we had. So the genre that I have, again, it's a psychological thriller action movie. We got Denis Villeneuve. You guys remember that? Yeah, he did the Dune movies. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Denis Villeneuve is our director. We got Clement Virgo, who's a Canadian, and I felt this movie is going to be in Toronto, so I want to get someone who can really get into the culture of what Toronto was in 2003, because I don't even know what it was. So I have faith in him. It says August 14th, 2003, when there was 48 hours of blackness. And we got Hugh Jackman as our lead. He's our military man, ex-military Canadian. And we have Patrick Bateman is our bad guy. And we'll put not Patrick Bateman, but it's Christian Bale. And he's our bad guy villain who is trying to make his way to the wife and the daughter, and it's up to Hugh Jackman's character to stop him in time before he can get to them. And his right hand man is Cuba Gooding Jr. And I said his character is kind of like the style of Trey Styles from Boys in the Hood. And the wife that in question that we're talking about is Scarlett Johansson. And I said as like a six man, we'd have Kevin Hart in there, just as like a fun little character. He's gonna have his moments, give us some laughs, but this is a movie that I want you're going to watch it. You're going to be a little bit scared at moments. You're going to see some cool action. And in those moments when maybe you shouldn't be laughing, we're going to slip in some jokes, a little bit of dark humor, a little bit of just straight up funny scenarios. And it's just going to be a good time. Get the popcorn, get the kids ready. You know what I mean?
And how is this one ending? Does he save the day, or what
the
are
way
you
I
thinking?
had it is one of them's going to die. The mom or the daughter. He's not going to save them both. Yeah, but I don't know which
Damn.
one. It's like, can he save them in time? I was going to put, can he save one of them in time? But then I'm giving it away. So it's like, can he save
Right.
them in time? Maybe he's only going to save one
Does
of them.
Cuba get got too?
Maybe. I didn't decide that. There's going to be some, I don't want to kill too many people, because then it'll be like, then the deaths start to be less meaningful. You got to
Right.
you got to pick your spots. I just know either the mom or the daughter's going to die. I don't know which one. We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see the test audiences and see what they say. We'll have them both die. The test audience didn't like that one. Yeah. They don't like
See what
Scarlett.
Denis thinks.
Yeah, exactly. And look, they can kind of play
Yeah,
with
get his
that.
opinion.
Yeah. So
Well, sold. I'll give you 200 million.
all right, perfect, 100%. I appreciate that. Yeah. So that do you have anything else? Do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you wanted
Well,
to say?
yeah, Freddie, well, let us know. Vote. Which movie do you think you would go see if you only have one movie ticket? They're both playing on a Friday night. You can only go see one. Which one are you going to see? Are you going? Did you come up with a title? Do you have a title for your movie?
I don't know how. Do you have a title?
No, I didn't think of one either, but
I thought of some corny ass ones. If you want to hear them.
Okay, let me hear 'em.
Literally, the first one I thought of was just Blackout.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
I guess
I like it.
it's just I don't know, Blackout or 48 Hours, but then it sounds like a freaking like the cop show, like the first 48 or something. It makes it seem like that. So that's all I really got.
Like mine. Like I'm just literally thinking on the spot, corny, like Countdown in Paradise, or like, or maybe not Countdown. Something in Paradise, I think could be
okay.
Could be cool because they're in Death in Paradise is stupid. I don't know. Let me know. Hey, you heard the whole concept. If you got a cool title for my movie or for Dion's movie, let us know what the title should be.
How about grilled cheese? How about you name yours grilled cheese?
There you go. That's like the working title.
Like the Kugler,
like Kugler's working title for Sinners, grilled cheese.
No, I like your movie though. That's why I'm pushing you. If anyone listening, I'm pushing him to write it because I want to see this story all the way through. Now I'm intrigued, bro. Like this is an independent film that I want to watch. Well, no, it's not an independent film. We're doing blockbusters. These are blockbuster films. We got massive budgets, especially with these people.
Film with Margot Robbie and Robert Pattinson. Yeah.
Well, based off the directors they have, if these guys wanted to make independent, technically independent just means there's no studio backing, really.
Right, that's true.
To a certain extent.
But we just made a studio pitch.
That is true. That is very true. That is very true. But yeah, like Scott said, let us know what you think. Like you said, let us know. That wraps up our first ever summer blockbuster episode. So maybe we'll do another one. Maybe we'll do another kind of creating a movie concept like this. But like you said, let us know if we should add something. Like maybe there's another layer. Like maybe like we add the music. If someone was like that's for the film nerds, they want us to get real deep. Like who's your DP? Who's the composer? Right now, we'll stick with just like the basic stuff for now. But if you want us to, if anyone wants us to add, maybe if I want to ask us personally, we'll hit you up and let you know what you think. Maybe you would have had a different lead. Maybe you like our stories, but like, nah, get Brie Larson out of there or get Kevin Hart out of there, and you want to add someone else in. Hey, hit us up. I'm open to hearing that. And then let us know, like, again, who your favorite side character would have been. Any of that stuff. And those places you can contact us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at The Film Room Pod, YouTube, The Film Room Podcast. If you search us up, we're on Apple and on Spotify. And if you like the show, leave us with a review. How many stars should they give us, Scott?
5 stars only.
5 stars, okay. And you know what's funny?
5 stars only.
I actually looked this up. I was looking at the movie podcast, like analytics and stuff. There's over 1,000 movie podcasts, and we are currently rated at 1,000. So guys, if you want us to move up in the rankings, we're not actually at 1,000, but if you want to, no, we're not. Yeah, we're behind the guys that haven't posted in like 2 years. So help us out, guys. Cut that part out where I said we're not 1,000. We're 1,000, and we're just small podcast and we want to grow. So if you help us out,
small,
at least help us get to like 990. Like that's all
triple digits,
just triple digits. So if one of you gives us a 5-star review, help us out. We want to grow this family, all jokes aside, and we love hearing back from you. So if you give us a review and with a rating, and we'll read it on the podcast, because we always love to hear back from everybody and with the family. So yeah, that's it. I mean, again, do you have any final words before I close this off?
This was cool, man. This was
fun.
This was Dion's idea, by the way, for anyone listening. This was his idea, and it was a cool one. I think there could be some interesting caveats we add. If there's like a budget almost to the casting, so we can't just pick whatever big names we want. You know, maybe we have to get a little creative with it. There's maybe some things that we could do to make it interesting, but like for our first ride, I thought this was super cool.
I had a lot of fun.
To do it again.
I had a lot.
We both came up with some. I'd watch both of our movies.
Yeah, I'd watch both of our movies too. Let us know what you guys think. And remember, I really want to hear you guys and hear all your movie ideas. But when it comes to Scott and when it comes to my movie, because I'm going to put myself over, I don't care if you got superheroes, Tyler Hero, or Robert De Niro. Denny and 5. And peace out.
Peace out.